ever wonder what it would be like to be, sitting across on your back porch and looking across the street and just seeing like a sinkhole open up or a plane crash? We're kind of seeing that with Fender. And I tell you, as a non-Fender fanboy, it's been something to watch. My name is Wesley. Welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I haven't posted in like, 2 years, but this drama was just so juicy that I couldn't resist. And everybody on the internet seems to be in the same boat because there are tons of videos being made about it. I'm a bit late to the party. I'd actually recorded this video 2 or 3 days ago. There's been updates and I hadn't posted it. So now I'm going to re-record it and talk about the updates. So let's bring everybody up to speed. If you've been living under a rock, what is going on with Fender? So in March of this year, Fender brought and won a lawsuit in Dusseldorf, Germany, against Yiwu Philharmonic Musical Instrument Company, which is like some AliExpress seller. They produce S-style guitars. I'm not sure if they're directly in front, I don't know if they're on AliExpress and DHgate and these Chinese like dropship websites. There are, like, if you order a guitar, there's a very good chance you can order that guitar and it's going to say Fender, but it's obviously not. It's made in China by some company like this. And they brought a lawsuit in Germany against this company who's making S-style knockoffs on AliExpress. And they won. The reason they won is because nobody from, a surprise to no one, literally nobody in the room or in the world, theoretically, nobody from Yiwu Philharmonic Instrument Company showed up to court to defend themselves. So it's a default win. All Fender had to do was make a case, and lo and behold, they win, and now this is it. The case they made was that the design of the S-style body shape was should be kind of construed as an expression of art, right? So when Leo Fender designed it, it's the curves of a woman, and they said, okay, good enough. There's nobody to tell us otherwise and nobody here to argue, so you win. You got it. And they're like, thanks. And now, after that, they have kind of extrapolated on that ruling and started sending cease and desist letters to boutique builders, small builders in the European Union, where this jurisdiction would be, saying, hey, you have got to stop making S-style guitars or else. And you're talking like, $250,000 in fines. They're wanting customer lists. They're trying to track down inventory, like recover damages, and they're also wanting them to destroy all of their inventory, both that they have and I think that they've sold, which is wacky. So that's what started all of this debacle. And as of recent, so this is in the European Union, so the courts in Germany, they have lost this case in 2009 in the United States. Essentially, the argument is that this type of body style is pretty well public domain and been around since 1954. Nobody ever fought it, and now all of a sudden you're deciding to care and fight it. So no, screw off. And that's been the end of it in the United States up until this recent development. So yeah, that's about it. Here in the last couple days, and what I think has been happening is, I think they've probably gone on like Thomann and looked at every S-style guitar manufacturer and said, hey, don't do that. Here today, or in the last 24 to 48 hours, they have actually sent a cease and desist letter to Paul Reed Smith, who, again, as you all may well know, makes the Silver Sky model, courtesy of John Mayer, a former Fender artist, who, number one, Paul Reed Smith is still out there doing his thing, right? He's alive, and he makes wonderful guitars. They're, from top to bottom, Paul Reed Smith, I would say, have much better quality control. And just like in general, if you took the average Paul Reed Smith versus the average Fender, it's not even going to be a close comparison, my opinion. And that's kind of where we're at. Why this is controversial? So a couple reasons. Number one, the Stratocaster has been around since 1954. That's 72 years now. And the argument being made is that essentially you have to have to establish protection over something like this. You, in theory, should have had to defend that up until this point, right? So nobody, when Leo Fender was still alive and You're talking like pre-CBS era. They sold it to CBS, came back, yada, yada, yada. At no point was he ever trying to like hold on to this like design. I'm not even sure there's a patent on it. There's a patent on the tremolo system. That I know for sure. But the design itself is pretty generic. It has double cutaway and it's just kind of an ergonomic design. And since that time, now you've got, Ibanez, Super Strats, Jackson, Charvel, Schecter makes some, Paul Reed Smith, Suhr's a big one that makes way better Strats than Fender does. So like everybody makes an S-style guitar. It's probably one of, it's one of the main most popular designs, if not the most popular design. So that's number one. Number two, they don't even make the best Strat. Like, let's be honest here. They're bested at every price level comparatively. So if you're looking like hyper cheap, $200, you're gonna get Harley Benton. You're gonna need some work, but it's serviceable and pretty good for $200. If you go to the like mid-range, $800, Schecter, Paul Reed Smith SE, like the Silver Sky SE, are gonna be a better go-to as far as quality control and getting a good instrument on average most of the time. You get up into like $2,000, you're still probably going to grab a PRS. Now you can get the actual Silver Sky. And then if you go into custom shop territory, you've got a Suhr, and you're not even going to come close to competing to it, right? Fender doesn't even make the best Strat now. They make take it back. They don't make the best S-style guitar. They're the only ones that make a Stratocaster. They don't make the best S-style guitar, pretty much at any price point, in my opinion. I have two Strats sitting behind me. Both of them have sentimental value. One I built myself when I was getting into luthier type stuff during the pandemic. The other I got from a friend who inherited it, and it's a Japanese Strat. It's about 92, I think. And I bought it from her, and I really love that guitar, and I love my dear friend, so I'm not going to get rid of it. Short of those, I am in no way, shape, or form ever probably going to be shopping for a Fender Stratocaster. I have a P-Bass, which is a totally different story, and I think the P-Basses are great. There's hardly any comparison. There's other options, but a P-Bass is a P-Bass, it's the standard. So it just doesn't make sense. What has been the response here is exactly what you would expect. Everybody, I wouldn't even say pissed off. I mean, I'm sure some of the builders and the manufacturers and on the business side of things, people are probably pretty pissed. From the fan base side of things, I would just say that they're kind of clowning on them. There have been multiple videos from people with much bigger channels than mine, which is not hard to do, much more influence than mine, and who actually work with Fender. I'll name a couple. Rhett Scholl, Philip McKnight, John Nathan Cordy, KDH, there's one more, Samurai Guitarist, I think, made one. Just to name a few who've all commented on this situation. And again, some of them have worked pretty closely with Fender in various capacities. And they don't have anything good to say. It's pretty telling that people with financial reasons to not stir the pot are still offering their objective opinion and speaking out against Fender. The response has been overwhelmingly negative. I haven't found anybody who really has argued for them. I want to clarify again that nobody is questioning the illegality of buying a guitar on AliExpress that looks like a Strat and it saying Fender on it and it not being Fender. That's illegal. It's the same thing with the Chipsons, right? You can put Gibson on it. That's counterfeit. That's counterfeiting. But if you buy an Eastman or a Heritage that just looks like a Les Paul, it's not. It's a Les Paul style Heritage guitar or whatever brand. And the response from the general public is like, it's so unbelievably yucky. Like, it's just a really gross way of going about business, I would say. And it's a fight you don't even have to pick, right? You're Fender. You're making 200,000+ instruments a month. And you, in the age of the internet, you don't have to do that, but you're never going to get away with it. So like before the internet, when everything was word of mouth, or you see it in Guitar World magazine kind of thing, you may have done a little better, but not today. Like, as soon as this comes out, you're cooked. You're done. Everybody thinks you're the bad guy. And like, it's just bad, man. It's not good. Fender's response, they actually have released one response at long last. And the response makes it even worse. It's so silly. I wish I had like a verbatim copy, but I watched Cordy's video on it, and he was reading over it. And their response is essentially like, oh yeah, we're happy to work together. We don't want to go after people. You just have to make something different. So you're welcome to make a double cutaway guitar or a 2-horn guitar, but it just has to be different. Okay, well, thanks for your blessing, asshole. Like, again, this is just so tone deaf, and I don't want to ramble forever because I'm going to repeat a bunch of stuff because there's just no other way of putting it. I'll give you my thoughts as a amateur musician in every form and facet. I've never made money playing music. I have never professionally recorded music. I have my setup in my spare bedroom here, and that's it. I am as everyman as it comes when it comes to music, right? My thoughts, I will never buy another Fender instrument in my life. There's a very good chance. Number one, as I mentioned, I wouldn't buy a Fender Strat if I were looking for a Strat. I would buy something better, with better quality control, with better workmanship, with more customizability. Any number of reasons you can think of if I were looking for another Strat, which I'm not. Like I said, I have two that I don't play as my main guitars. On top of that, I think that in a world where the spread of information is so quick, it's unfathomable to me that the people in charge at Fender could run this by a group of people sitting at the table in a boardroom. I don't know who would even propose something like this, much less get it approved across the table. Like, hey, let's do this. And everybody's like, yes, 100%. Like, every single person that made that decision should be fired. The problem is that the person who would normally fire them is probably one that greenlighted the decision. And you know what they're going to get? It's going to be negative. You don't ever do better in business trying to screw people. You just don't. There's a reason why Chick-fil-A does so well. It's not because they are using sneaky tactics and cutting corners at every possibility. They just make good food. Service is always good. The food's always good. And you're not going to want to go to another place to get your chicken sandwich. Like, that's what they do. It's this way in business all over the place. For whatever reason, you get these people who are businessmen. They're probably not musicians. They are probably, I'm not going to say they're bad people, but you get these people who are just numbers driven, and they see this on paper and they're like, that is great. I love it. Oh my God, we've got it. And it fails to take into account the people involved in these decisions, the emotions involved in these decisions as people shift to and from, right? Yeah, you may recover damages and recover lost inventory. There's a good chance you don't. So when somebody actually fights this lawsuit, I would bet, if I were a betting man, I would bet money they're going to lose. So that's just a waste of money for everyone involved. Number two, if they didn't, what damages you temporarily gain, you're going to lose because people aren't going to want to buy a Fender anymore. They're not going to want to buy a Strat because guess what? You're the bad guy. You are everything that, especially small musicians, small builders, the music industry as a whole hates that. You're trying to make money doing everything in your power except just making a better guitar. Do you know, I saw a video, my eyes itching, oh my gosh. I saw a video, it's probably been about a week ago, and Philip McKnight was in a Guitar Center with the CEO or some administrator at Guitar Center. And hearing that guy talk about the things he was doing to make Guitar Center better made me want to go to Guitar Center and spend money. He was talking about updating the systems and making a better player experience and letting people try more guitars and doing all these things to make the experience better so that you wanted to go to Guitar Center. There's nothing sneaky about it. His plan, we're going to make a better product. They sell products, but Guitar Center, the store, the product is like the service, right? Like you go there versus Sweetwater, wherever, because the service is better, because the quality of the products are better. I don't know how much better it's getting. I've been to Guitar Center recently, but I haven't paid that much attention. I just kind of go in there to buy strings every now and then. And his plan, like I said, I watched that video and it made me want to go to Guitar Center more because it was, there's nothing snaky about it. There's nothing sneaky about it. It was just like, hey, we need to do better. We're going to take some accountability here. And that's my plan. We're going to just do better. And we're going to improve these things, eliminate loss, see what we can fine tune, and kind of go from there. Oh my God, what an idea. That's great. I love that. Fender's response, again, to maybe their sales are dwindling, they're seeing all this competition, whatever, is not to improve your quality control, offer more options, to make better instruments. It's to go after people who can't defend themselves. And that makes you look like a huge piece of shit, for lack of a better way of putting it. And again, I don't think they're bad people. I think this is just the most tone-deaf decision business-wise I've seen in a long time. And in a realm where you're already being outclassed by your competitors and relying on the legacy of your brand to drive sales, which they are. You know, if you search guitar, there's a very good chance you'll see a Fender Stratocaster. If you pay attention nowadays, you'll also notice that there aren't very many people there aren't quite as many artists playing Fenders as far as guitars go. A lot of them play boutiques. Paul Reed Smith has John Mayer, like a lot of professionals are choosing higher end instruments versus a Stratocaster. And I really worry that it's going to be more negative than I think. In actuality, it's already done irreparable damage to their rapport with customers, I would say. If you've got Philip McKnight saying that he is kind of blasting you, that guy is the nicest person ever. Like I've been watching his videos for years, and he is always very pleasant, very, just nice, just very objective and reasonable. And for him to come out and lay it out there is kind of surprising, honestly. But if you're alienating even those types of people, you have to imagine what your average person's going to be like. Because I would say he's probably more graceful towards like these types of issues, towards negativity, towards negative press. Like even his critiques are usually very fair and they're not mean. It's just, like I said, here's what it is. And that made me realize just how bad it was. And I think at the end of the day, what's going to come of this for Fender is probably nothing. If they're sending a cease and desist to Paul Reed Smith has the money to fight them and make them look like idiots in court. And they've already lost this court. Like I said, they've already lost this in the United States once. I genuinely think that depending on the circumstances of the case in Germany, had anybody shown up to court for the Chinese company. And as long as they're not just ripping off Fenders, like putting Fender on the headstock, then they would have won that too, for the same reasons. Like, hey, this has been around for 70-something years. Everybody makes S-style guitars. You can't just go and say that's mine now. It's 75 years. You got to move on. And I just think that it's, the last thing I'll say about it is I think that Fender, like I said, you look like a puny little, just a weenie, just a real weenie. I don't know how else to say it. You look like a whiny little kid who, for all your power and all your money and all the instruments you produce, some of them are great, to do this, man, it just makes you look so puny and pathetic. And like I said, if I ever need, I might actually get on LSO and see if I find anything I like. I've got a Kiesel on the way, and I've got a Carbon already, and there's literally no contest to any Strat I've ever played. The Carbon's better, and I'm sure the Kiesel will be too. So, but it makes me want to support these small builders. It makes me want to help them, because you're threatening the livelihood of people much smaller than you because of insecurity. And it's just gross, man. And I don't think you're going to make any money for it. And he said, take it from Gibson after they did their Play Authentic thing. Like, it just backfired tremendously. You can argue things that are realistic or things you actually innovate on, but when you don't, and you're just trying to scrape value and milk your legacy for all that it's worth 70 years and after Leo Fender's death, it just makes you look disgusting. So anywho, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for sticking around this long if you have. Sorry to ramble on. There's just a lot to talk about, and I really don't think you can overstate how bad it is, which is unfortunate because, Fender's a powerhouse in the musical industry, but it's just really tarnished a few of them. And like I said, I won't be buying another Fender instrument for the foreseeable future, I would say. I don't hate them. I don't think it's going to matter very much one way or the other, and I truthfully don't think that much is going to come of the cease and desist, because it's just such a buffoonish thing to do that as soon as somebody puts up a fight, they're going to have to backtrack. I'm anxiously awaiting them to backtrack so I can make another video about this, because I think it's coming. Your PR department's on fire, I'd imagine. And yeah, anyway, like I said, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sorry for the lengthy hiatus. I just get distracted, for years at a time. So I'm going to try to get back into more recording and things. But until next time, keep rocking, keep rolling, and just keep not being Fender, I guess. Oh my God. We'll see you guys next time.